Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. Uh, hey there, hi there, ho there. Hello, everybody. This is Ralph Hayes Jr., RHJunior, coming back at you live on the interwebs, a system of tubes that has become a substitute for the boob tube through YouTube. Coming at you with a little show I like to call Spleen Squeezins'. One, two, three, four. Hey there, hi there, oh there, how y'all doing, everybody? It's me. It's me again, Margaret. Doggone it, honey. I thought we sprayed for these things already. They're back again. All right. It's me again. Ladies and germs, I do not mind telling you I feel way better than I did yesterday. And if you ask why, I will tell you why. Because I passed that kidney stone. Rather early in this morning, about 3 or 4 in the morning, I started suffering, I did not get a proper night's sleep. I did not go to bed and lie down. Fell asleep in my chair again. I've really got to stop doing that. It's bad for my legs. And well, I started getting a bad round of gut pain pills, pain pills or no pain pills. And then it passed, and then about an hour later, I came to use the restroom, and clink clink. Yeah, I got the little bugger right here in a old pill bottle. Gonna be showing it to the doctor. Yeah, it's a nasty little sucker. I'm looking at the thing. I can't believe that thing came out of me and how it came out of me. I can't believe that. No lie, no lie. Not kidding you. Oh, come on, you stupid computer. Here we go. Uh, I don't know where to begin. I got 4 popsicles sitting in front of me. 4 little fruit popsicles. I'm sitting here. I'm eating. And I'm trying to eat them before they melt. Mm. But uh, I feel guilty. I'm sitting here. I did not lie down and go to bed. I did not put my feet up like I'm supposed to. I'm really thinking that I need to move. I either need to get a cot or move my bed into the living room. And set it up so that I need to set it up so that I'm lying. I can work while lying in bed. just so I can keep my feet elevated. I've been working at this desk in a corner of my trailer, hunched over a keyboard and doing nothing but letting my legs swell even more. I'm really, folks, if you saw me, you'd think there was some sort of horrifying emergency. I look like something in another generation, I would have been a circus sideshow freak with these legs. I need to take like a week, 2 weeks of being nothing but lying in bed with my feet up and letting the swelling just go down, just to try and treat them. But I haven't done it. Just setting that up is a task and a half. Hell, I can't even get this trailer cleaned. I can't get the trash and crap out of my trailer. I can't get this place cleaned out, much less cleaned up and furniture moved around and crap. But oh, you have to excuse me. I'm trying to hydrate. That's my excuse for eating these popsicles. I'm trying to hydrate. I'm also drinking gallons of orange juice. For the type of stones that they believe I have, it's there are 2 or 3 different kinds of kidney stones, and it depends on what kind they are as to what diet or dietary changes will help them. If I'm very fortunate, these will be the kind. The kind they believe I have are uric acid stones, and in order to combat that, you drink a lot. All of them, you drink a lot of fluids, but you also get a lot of citrus, a lot of calcium, a lot of vitamin C. That helps. That helps dissolve them. In fact, before they form. Now, and they are also treatable by medication. They can give you a medication, they can put you on a prescription that will keep them from forming and will also dissolve the ones that are already there. But they have to have the stone, they have to run it through analysis, they have to figure out, they have to be sure what kind it is before they proceed with any sort of treatment plan. And surprisingly, even though some kinds of kidney stones are calcium based, reducing your dietary calcium does not help. In fact, it makes them worse. It's one of those weird feedback loop things. But right now, lots of liquids, which in my case means a lot of orange juice. A lot of water, orange juice, a lot of water, a lot of popsicles where it's just frozen liquid in it. Mm. These are cheapy. These are a brand called Monster Pops. You get them at Walmart. They're budget saver popsicles. Budget Saver Company produces these popsicles, all different kinds, and they even produce these. I have to look at the packaging. I don't think these are but they make some that are made from fruit puree, and they're cheap as all get out. Just less than $2 a package. $2 for a dozen, and they come in bags, and they're very tasty. They have lemon lime, and they also have pureed strawberry ones. And they have the ones I have are lemon lime and pineapple cherry. They also have cherry mango. It's bleh. I do not like mango. I don't like mango. It tastes like something between a sweet potato and a carrot to me, and that just meh, it just doesn't do it for me. They put mangoes in everything. Mm. One of the little tricks I use is I use one of these popsicles instead of using ice cubes. If I have a drink, I'll use a popsicle instead. I'm gonna the next time shopping list, I'll ask her. I'll ask to get this specifically the no sugar added fruit puree ones. That way it can be a little bit more healthy. I need to, if I'd like to get one of these popsicle racks so you can make popsicles in your own ice box, and that way I can, I've got a blender. I get some fruit, blend it up, pour it into a mold. You know, yum yum. Now, uh, let's see here. Oh, I left the screen on. I left the screen stuck on. There we go. Just come on. It's all okay and for some reason, some of my images are not showing. It's not showing the PNGs. Pings. For some reason, it stopped showing pings. I don't know. I have to delete most of those. All right. Okay, what was I thinking of? I was thinking of something, and I was thinking of addressing it. I make a point of adding a lot of ice to everything I drink, regardless. It surprised me. You take milk, you think milk with ice in it, bleh. But that's a southern thing. That's southern thing. They add ice to milk. And actually, I tried it. It's actually quite refreshing. And I do that every now and then. I don't drink very much cola anymore. Well, compared to the average person these days. Back when I was a boy, back when my father was a boy, a Coca-Cola, a bottle of pop was a sweet treat. It was a dessert almost. Nowadays, everybody drinks this stuff with every meal, and they don't think a thing of it. Well, I gotta wonder when that happened. Now, uh, I'm dreading my doctor visit. When an ambulance comes and picks you up, they don't care what you look like. You know that. I hate the fact I don't have any really clothes that I can wear in public. I just have a bathrobe and some hospital gowns, and I don't even have footwear I can wear. I need to try flip flops again. Next time I send somebody out to pick some stuff up for me, I'll get them to pick up some flip flops from Walmart. Great big giant pair. I should be able to put those on at the very least. Now, mm, I'm working quick now. These popsicles are going fast. Not because I'm eating them. I think I'll use. I got a glass of orange juice here. Big hospital mug. This it says something that I that one of the one of my little silver linings to every cloud is that when I go to the ER, I usually end up with a bunch of loot. You know, no lie. The ambulance dropped me off, brought me back home. And they gave me the sheets and blankets off the crash cart. Well, I ain't gonna say no. I mean, I haven't got that many blankets and quilts and sheets and stuff anyway. And after good grief, after nearly half a dozen rides in an ambulance, most of my household linen for the bed is these mass-produced hospital bed sheets and cotton blankets. Those ones they warm them up and heat them up, and then they throw them over your legs when you get too cold. Those things. They'd rather give them away than wash them, I suppose. I don't know. Or maybe it's just, they're just so, you know, I don't know. You know, at a certain point, things like bed sheets and blankets and stuff are just, for me, purchasing some bed sheets at Walmart is not a non-trivial purchase. Let's put it that way. But for a hospital that has thousands of patients, it's probably better off that they give them, just give them away every now and then, rather than. I also get these, the great big drink mugs. They give these big, huge plastic mugs, double-sided, what are they called, double-sided or double-shelled or whatever, insulated, whatever, thermos type glasses for you to drink water. Here, would you like some water to drink? You're woken up from your operation. Would you like some water to drink? And they give you this huge mug with the Ohio State University logo on the side. If you bought it at the gift shop, or you bought it at the stadium, it would be like $5-10. It's like, here you go. I'm like, okay. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I used to hate orange juice as a kid. Hated it. Because back then, they didn't filter out the pulp. I hated that. If I drink something, I don't want little bits floating in it. I didn't like the feel of them in my mouth or the feel of them going down my throat. It was just exciting, and it blows my mind that there is some of these juice companies now with more juicy bits of orange. And I'm like, dude, if I wanted juicy bits of orange, I'd get an orange. I want juice. I want liquid. Bubble tea would probably flip me right out of my mind. I don't want little bitty things floating in my drinks. I have enough. I have trouble drinking the milk at the bottom of my cereal. Because there's always a little bit of 3 or 4 Cheerios floating around in there that you can't get with the spoon. You try and drink them and they go back down your throat. It's like, oh, they got me. Glasses are dirty. Serious. I'm really serious about this. I'm thinking of just disappearing for a week and just You don't understand. My feet are like my legs. My lower legs are several feet around. Okay, they're actually several feet in diameter. They're a couple of feet in diameter and radius. That's swollen. I got to look at myself. I had to go to the emergency room again. I went twice this week. First I went to Marietta Memorial and they shipped me off to OSU, and then they shipped me back. And then somebody apparently forgot to, they gave me the pills to dilate everything, but they forgot to give me some pain medicine. And then I got walloped with another round of pain and ended up going back to the ER. So I've seen more of the inside of an ambulance this week than anybody really should in a lifetime. Uh, anyway, they gave me some pain pills this time and sent me home. And early this morning, I passed that little booger. Yeah, but anyway, I'm walking out of the ER. I'm walking out of the ER, and they had a voucher for me to take a taxi van home, and they're waiting for me out at the emergency room entrance. So I walk out, and I saw a full length reflection of myself in the windows out front, and it was horrifying. It really is. It's awful. I mean, from the knees up, I look normal, but I can see my legs. They look like something out of a horror movie, like an alien is about to explode out of them or something. The closest they've been to normal was when I was stuck in the hospital the first time I had kidney stones, and I was basically bedridden by necessity. I had tubes coming out of my kidneys through my back, kind of, limits your mobility there. And I spent about 5 days with my feet up. Not even, barely even walking to the bathroom, you know. The pressure went down and the fluid went down, and they almost, they didn't look normal, not far from it, but they were half the size that they are now. And it just kills me to be like this and to see this, and I know that the knee-jerk reaction anybody see me would be to bundle me off to a hospital. They look that bad. I know, but the reality is that there's just nothing to be done for it. And what's humiliating is I don't even have a way to cover them up. They don't make pants for legs like this. They don't make, and I have hunted all over the place. All I want, if I could find myself a robe, a floor, it has to be floor length. It literally has to go all the way down to the floor. It has to completely cover my legs. Hell, it is basically a dress is what I need. Except they don't even make dresses that reach the floor anymore. But if I could find a robe, I would wear something. I would wear things like that just to hide them, because they just look so awful. And people just stare, and people always asking questions, and I hate going out in public, even for an ambulance ride. And next week I've got to travel. I've got to get in a van, go out there. I've got to get a taxi, drive to my doctor's office, so that I can sit there and wait for him to show up late, and he can tell me, I need to, I'm too fat, I need to get skinny, and all, the usual, and so he can spend, so I can spend half an hour sitting in in the, so I can spend a couple hours sitting in the waiting room, then another half hour sitting in the examination room, and so he can come in 10 minutes later and spend 5 minutes looking at me and then give his verdict. If you haven't guessed, I'm a little bit bitter about some aspects of the medical industry. But just really. And I'm going to have to go out in public, and I don't really have anything I can that I can wear in public. Like I said, walking around in a hospital gown, that's what I do at home. And really, I don't have any clothes that will, I could, I've got shirts and stuff that I could wear, but it's, showing up pantsless is kind of, a social faux pas, And if I had, I'm thinking I'm just gonna put on one of my hospital gowns, put on my bathrobe over that, and go waddling in barefoot in through the front door of their office building, just for his rigmarole. No, everybody talks about how doctors used to do house visits. Nobody investigates why they don't do it anymore. What the hell happened there? They used to understand that dragging a sick person from their home just to sit in your office for a 5-minute diagnosis is indecent. And this is the first time I called him this morning to set up an appointment. This is the first time since I've known that man that I've been able to get an appointment. They had an opening available for tomorrow. But I had to put it off till next week because, I don't have, I haven't arranged transportation yet. Hell, I haven't even arranged clothing, much less transportation. I'm scared of what he's going to say when he sees me. They've not gotten any better. But thank God, at least I don't have to go through what I did the last time I had those dang kidney stones. It passed on through. Yes. Yeah, I'm going to keep harping on that. Believe me, it wasn't nearly as bad as or painful. It wasn't nearly as awful as I thought it was going to be, and it was nothing compared to what I went through when they pulled those stents back out. When they remove the stents, basically it's a tube to allow everything to make sure that your urethra and your ureters don't swell shut or anything like that. They let you heal up. And then they run a probe up inside you. You know where it goes, and yank the sucker out. And it literally took maybe 5 minutes from the time I got I got plunked down in that examination table to the time I rolled out the door to do it all, and it literally took less than 30 seconds total for him to go in there and pull them things out. But let me tell you, the stress and the sensation, the pain was very brief, but very memorable. And the stress alone could kill you. It's not fun. Let's put it that way. Compared to that, just passing the stone was a breeze. go through a good bit of pain. It goes down into into your bladder, then it goes through your urethra, and then. Not that I'm advising anybody. Oh yeah, go ahead and get yourself a kidney stone. No big deal. My legs. The thing with my legs is that I have chronic lymphedema, lymphatic edema. It's basically the lymphatic system, especially in my lower legs, is not working right. It's not taking up the fluid and pumping it up back through my body. Basically, your lymphatic system reabsorbs the liquid in your body, the loose fluid, and as you move around, it sort of pumps it back up through your body. It's a passive system, though. It's not like your bloodstream. Your veins and arteries and your heart, they all, have little muscles and pump the blood through you. The lymphatic system is passive. It relies on you moving around to work the fluid back up through your body. But my lymphatic system is not reabsorbing the fluid in my legs. And, basically the fluid in my body is pooling down in my legs, and it has made them swell up, monstrously so. My legs are literally the size of umbrella stands. You ever seen an elephant foot umbrella stand? My legs look like that. There is no, according to the doctors I've spoken to, there's no cure. There's no surgery they can do that will fix the problem. The treatment, such as it is, consists of keeping your feet elevated all the time. And wrapping your legs up tightly in like ace bandages or in special braces and things like that. But lymphatic massage. You go to a therapist, and the therapist, you lie there for half an hour while they massage your legs to try and work the fluid back up into your torso. And it never gets better. And basically, nothing short of being just about completely bedridden would ameliorate it right now. And the way my legs went down, the fluid, just having my legs elevated, just lying there in that hospital bed for 4 or 5 days, that was enough to start recuperate progress. Of course, by the time, after a couple of days at home, all that, pretty much gone, turned back around. Because, like I said, there's no cure. And the treatment is only, the therapy and the treatment is only, to make yourself more mobile and to keep your legs down in size. It's, and if you look it up, just look for some of the really extreme cases. That's what I look like. And I didn't realize how bad I looked until I saw myself in that emergency room window. I looked like somebody in drastic need of an emergency operation. And it just, I won't lie, a little bit of me died. Because, from where I'm sitting, it doesn't look that bad when you're looking down at your own legs. But when you see yourself in the mirror, you realize just how bad it is. I don't think that my family knows. I'm worried that my parents are going to come by someday and they're going to see it and they're going to freak. My legs are as bad or as worse. They're worse, I think, than my grandmother's and my great aunts were. Of course, they were up in years. They were completely utterly retired, and they did spend all their time with their feet up. No, 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 not just swollen, deformed. As in they've been inflated so large they don't even look normal anymore. They don't even look like proper legs. They don't even look like swollen legs. They look like they look like I've got a Christmas turkey stuffed down my pants, each pants leg. I don't care if it's Hispanics. The Hispanic. Okay, let's deal with this briefly. Okay, I think anybody who wants to be an American citizen should be given the opportunity to be an American citizen. But, and that's a big but. It's a big, heavy but. It's the biggest, heaviest butt you've ever seen. But, I request that anybody that comes into my house comes in through the front door. You try sneaking in over the back fence or through a back window, I'm going to have some buckshot waiting for you. That's not racism. That's not bigotry. That's not hard-heartedness. That's common freaking sense. These people who are pouring across our southern border, they are here illegally. They have already demonstrated contempt for the rule of law in our country. They don't respect our border laws. And it's all downhill from there. I'm not going to cry a river for these people about, oh, they have it so hard in Mexico. Well, then come in through the front door. You want to come into this country? You come in through the front door. You want to live in this country? You become an American. You don't become a migrant Mexican. You don't become a migrant foreigner living here in the country to make money and take it home with you and to break all our laws going each direction. And it's not, and it's not all, these people boring, they're all criminals. They're not just, they're not just breaking our immigration laws, they're breaking our tax laws, they're breaking our employment laws, isn't it interesting how upset these people get over, these social activists get over, the evil corporations exploiting people, yet they're perfectly fine with a virtual slave market pouring over the back border. These people come in, they work for next to nothing. And that's the ones that actually work. Most of them are coming across, they're criminals. And I'm talking, well, they're all criminals, but we're talking people, they come across, they're drug dealing, they're gangbangers, they're members of gangs. Some of the most violent drug cartels in the world. And all these bleeding hearts are laying a two-way highway for them to come in and out whenever they want. And I don't care about this, this whole dreamers thing. These illegal immigrants came in, and Obama granted amnesty to their kids. Well, these kids have been here long enough; they're all adults now. And they've grown up here, and instead of being sent back to their country, and they've made no effort to become American citizens. So, boo-hoo, out. I'm sorry. If let's put it this way, as other people have put it this way, if your parents sneaked you into Disney World, suppose they found a back gate and they sneaked the whole family into Disney World. Is it Disney's fault that y'all are going to get thrown out, or theirs? But poor little Timmy wants to go to Disneyland. He's never had a chance to go to Disneyland. There's a front gate over there. Doesn't matter. I feel sorry for the kid having, law-breaking parents that don't give a rat's ass. But the kid's still going to go back out the front gate because he did not enter legally. It's his parents' fault that he's there. And no matter how sympathetic you are, the kid still has to go. The kid has to go just the same as the parents. The reason the Democrats want these men is because they can smell the votes. Illegal immigrants registering to vote. Why the hell are they registering to vote anyway? This is my question. Millions of illegal immigrants registering to vote. I don't know about you, but if I am illegally in somebody else's country, the last thing I want to be doing is filling out a government form of any type with my information. We could put stop to all sorts of shenanigans if we just posted some of these Border Patrol guys at the voting booths. We'll talk about maybe our the requirements to become an American citizen. Maybe we need to review them. Maybe they aren't fair. Maybe the quotas and the quorums we have, and the limits on certain countries, people coming in. Maybe that is unfair. We'll talk about that after we start getting the people who are sneaking in to start obeying the law again. You're breaking the law to get into my country. You're out of the debate. You're not part of the discussion. You do not get to criticize our country's immigration policies. We got millions of people who are patiently waiting in line, doing everything by the book. Some of them even serving in our armed forces as part of the service they under. Part of the things they can do to expedite the process. These people aren't sneaking in. They're not noble. They're not, poor little immigrants. They're not, in, the pity party is over. All this nonsense is it's more Western guilt, more Western guilt. We you know the people pushing this debate, the soft-headed leftists say they're it's just another example. They don't think we have a right to exist, much less enforce our immigration laws. We don't have a right to exist. We don't have a we don't deserve to be a nation or a country or a people. We don't deserve to have secure borders or a safe nation or people abiding by the laws of our land. And that philosophy motivates and informs all their decisions and all the things they support. You go to any other country, you try and sneak into any other country on the planet, and they will make you regret it. You try and sneak into Mexico, you'll go to one of their prisons. Meanwhile, their president, El Presidente, is encouraging the people in his country to sneak into ours. We ought to yank every trade agreement we have with them and bounce him out the door until he starts shaping up. Don't expect us to respect your country if you won't respect ours. That's more than enough of that. I think I've got a blacklist running here. I'm trying to figure out what to. Yeah, we had a couple of people show up here. I had to ban them. Got 3 people on the list that I had to ban. Ross Sauer being one of them. If you don't know who, Ross Sauer and a couple of trolls who popped in. I was worried I had a list as long as my arm of people have kick banned or something. Because it sounds like I'm reading the chat room here. I'm reading the live chat, and it sounds like you're talking to somebody else that their name isn't and their text isn't showing up. Hello, hello. I'm trying to motivate myself. I'm trying to ooh gassy. Ooh, whoa. Uh, I'm really thinking of doing it. I'm really thinking of doing it. Just lying down, taking a solid week, lying down with just lying down with my feet propped up and not getting up. Stay in bed round the clock until my legs until the fluid in my legs goes down a little. Take about a week. Of course, the instant I get back up, within a day, my legs will be swollen back up again. It's a losing fight. I'm sure this is all enthralling to y'all. listen to me talk about my grotesque health conditions. Let's see here. Let's move on to a new topic, if we may. Come on, talk to me, people. You got anything you want to talk about? Things you want to ask? Things you want to say? I'm uh, gonna try and work on some of the comic pages. I figure I'd go completely stir crazy within 2 days, though. Lying in bed, doggo. I'm missing something. I don't know. I just don't know. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. Uh, the thing that's weighing on my mind the most right now is the Kickstarter, the probability bomb. Uh, I've come to the conclusion that I really, really overestimated my, if it is just it did not gel. It did not come together. It is the probability bomb. Uh, if I had my druthers, if I could, I would simply reimburse everybody that paid into it. I would cancel it, reimburse everybody that paid into it, and scrap it. It's as things stand now, the only thing I can do is go forward with it. And the further I go with it, the worse it looks. and I'm really not sure what I could do to salvage it. I grossly underestimated the amount of work necessary to produce a fully developed product like this. I grossly overestimated my productivity, and grossly overestimated the popularity of the story idea I eventually decided on. Uh, it's, too many objectives all at once. Too many, if I was doing a separate project where I was, the idea of the probability of bomb, the idea behind the story that I chose is I wanted to write a science fiction story that challenged the idea that science equals atheism, and that science fiction, if you were going to write good science fiction, it has to be it has to burn the pitch of incense to Darwin to be any good. And the assumption that and the assumption that internally the assumption that the assumption that all science fiction seems to make, especially the heart of the science fiction, the more mainstream the science fiction, the more the bigger the assumption that Darwin and the entire anti-theist brigade, are the enlightened ones. Is that in the future everybody is, in the future everybody is, an atheist and a Darwinist, and only primitives believe in God. And this initial assumption is always, even if I was just an agnostic, this would bother me, because I hate to break it to the fedora-wearing neckbeard crowd on YouTube, but atheism has never been a particularly predominant philosophical belief. Because it just runs contrary to people's personal experience with the universe, and also it runs contrary to many of the fundamental concepts of common sense. You don't have to be a lettered scientist to find the idea of a philosophy, that a belief that would to be troubled by the idea that all of the science, the entire scientific community pays obeisance to a theory that requires the laws of entropy to run backwards. I hate to break it to them, there are millions of scientists out there, people, scholars, people with every letter and PhD in every letter in the alphabet after their name, who have looked at it and have looked at the evidence and said there is no way the universe is just a little bit too orderly and constructed and intelligent to be a big flippin' accident. order, logic, reason, and design do not arise spontaneously from chaos. They do not. It's one of the most fundamental and basically accepted laws of science and of physics. But at the same time, they acknowledge the laws of nature and the laws of physics and the hard-won knowledge in science and understanding of the material universe. They'll turn right back around. The cognitive dissonance must be staggering. They'll turn right around and believe that molecules randomly came together and became man. Not by any design, but by random chance. We know what randomness does to nature. It breaks it down. It does not build it up. But no, but anyway, and the assumption that in the future atheism and Darwinism would be the predominant philosophy is very short-sighted. Setting the issues of knowledge and scientific learning aside, setting the scientific debate aside, there are scientific philosophies that have come and gone like a summer song. The theory of evolution, as laid out initially and built upon by others, by Darwin, has only existed for for less than 200 years. It's less, a century and a half. To believe that the future that civilization in the future will be Darwinistic and agnostic and atheist and secular is a very arrogant presumption. And the whole goal of the story I chose, the plot line and the theme was to, just to introduce the concept. Imagine, if you will, that maybe the our descendants in the future aren't all true believers in Darwin. It's as it's as short-sighted as believing that that the people in the it's as ridiculous as it's Zerust thinking, if you like. Our vision, it's one of those visions of the future that could just as easily go by the wayside as the 1950s version of sci-fi did. Rockets with fins and bubble-shaped helmets and robot maids and all that nonsense. And believing that society would just be a grander progression of what of the zeitgeist of today is very short-sighted. Heck, the beliefs and philosophies of the scientific community change on almost a generational basis. There could be, it's perfectly feasible there could come a day when the de facto acceptance of Darwinism as a given fact could go by the wayside the same way as the de facto belief in phlogiston ether, and dozens of other things that we were once just accepted as a given. There was a time when there was a time when the most advanced scientific thinking of the human society accepted as a given that there were four elements: earth, fire, air, and water. There was a time when we accepted as a given that since light traveled in waves, that it must be waves of something, so they came up with a theory of the cosmic ether. And there was a time before Einstein. You know what I'm saying? Where the idea of general relativity and special relativity didn't even exist. Where we assumed that the entire universe was Newtonian. And nobody even questioned it. Nobody questioned it any more than you would question the idea of gravity, or the idea that the sun rose in the east. It was a given. When you look at the medical community, the ideas there come and go with the breeze. And every generation is convinced that, well, they've got the universe by the tail this time. So I wanted to write a story where the evolutionists were the ones on the outside looking in. And I also wanted, just the very idea, just to puncture the paradigm that, the story with evolutionary theory is the same as the story with the global warming advocates. The science is settled. The consensus has been reached. And the average person on the street doesn't question global warming any more than they question their own names. I wanted to write a story that attacked that, that attacked that complacency, and that addressed and that brought up the idea that, perhaps you might be wrong. And in a roundabout way, I also wanted to address the philosophical issues of the assumption. You assume that why is this such a radical concept to suggest that you tell somebody that they are nothing more than an upraised ape, that they are going to be motivated, demotivated to act any way otherwise? I'm sorry. It's you bring this point up, the issue of ethics and morality. We're not saying, oh, if we accept evolution, then the society will fall. This is not the argument to be made. What I'm making here is, let's put it this way. I am not saying that atheists and evolutionists are incapable of being, so much as it can be measured by man, decent people, that they can't be good, that they can't be moral, that they can't be ethical. What I'm saying is that their beliefs undermine any reason or rationale for being that way. It can be summed up like this. I remember seeing this was a scene in a movie. It was about a man. It was sort of it was a Christian movie, but it was about a man from the 1900s a scientist and theologian. He, you know, he has a friend who has invented a time machine and sends him forward 100 years into the present day, which was the 1990s at the time, and there was one scene. The whole that one scene was less than 5 seconds. Less than 5-10 seconds summed up the whole message of the movie. This particular theologian, he had been arguing the idea of secular ethics, that morals and ethics, he had been trying to argue morals and ethics philosophically without incorporating the idea of a creator or of a God in the discussion. And anyway, he goes forward. He goes forward in time. He's just amazed at all the buildings and everything. He goes to a park. He buys himself a hot dog. He sits down at a bench, and a little girl runs up, steals his hot dog right off the bench. And he goes out. He runs after her and catches her. She's not some little star. She's just an ordinary kid. He catches her. He says, "What are you doing? That's mine." And he says, "You can't steal things. That's wrong." And she looks at him and says, "Says who?" When an atheist looks you in the eye and says he doesn't need to believe in God to be good, yeah, big frickin' deal. He's just basic, he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. Because he talks about how I don't need a God to be good. And then when you try and lecture him on right and wrong, he says who? Without a lawgiver, any discussion of the law becomes even the most simplistic morals becomes an argument between a person, with a person who doesn't believe any law exists. And, they can't even defend their own moral beliefs. You got these outspoken atheists like what's his name? Penn. The two women, Penn and Teller. They make a regular practice of mocking Christians, mocking the Bible, but when it comes down to it, you ask them, they have very outspoken and adamant beliefs about, they are very conservative in most regards. They are pro-gun, pro civil rights, so they are pro-constitution, and they oppose they oppose most of the environment, the ridiculous philosophies of the left, but they can't even defend. If they were ever asked, they wouldn't be able to defend their own beliefs. If an atheist stands up, when a Christian stands up and says, "This is wrong," and asks him, "Says who?" He says, "Because it's written down by God Almighty, handed down to man from above. A moral philosophy above and beyond what man could stumble across by accident." But you say you ask the same thing of an atheist. An atheist stands up and says, "This is right. This is wrong," and you look him in the eye and say, "Says who?" And the atheist will have no answer. Other than his own personal beliefs. An atheist has basically stated that the only thing that matters is his own personal beliefs about what's right or wrong. And God help you if his philosophies change when you aren't looking to something that's not so favorable to you. An atheist can be perfectly moral and respectable and everything else, so long as he is immersed in a moral and ethical society. But we've seen what happens when the atheist rises to the top of the ziggurat. The blood starts raining down. I'm sorry, we look at societies where atheism as a philosophy, was integrated into the political philosophy. Nazi Germany, the Russian Soviet, Communist China. The French Revolution. Most people don't remember that the people during the French Revolution in France, they weren't just revolting against the kings and the nobility. They were revolting against the Catholic Church and religion in general. They went out of their way. They went on a purge. They deliberately went out and desecrated churches. They removed every reference to God or religion or the past that they could. It's standard procedure for any humanist movement is to erase history and rewrite it. I went forward with this. I'd been wanting to write a story like this for a long time. I had batted around several ideas for settings, and the idea is that of an atheist, a material humanist who was adamantly determined to utterly disprove the existence of God, and he was willing to watch the whole world burn to do it. That was the general premise. That's the premise of the probability bomb. That the villain is so he is so determined to erase the quote unquote evil of theistic belief that he is willing to risk galactic annihilation just to bring an end to the belief in any sort of God. and to bring an end to the belief that the universe was created rather than being a materialist accident. I'm sorry, you can't be, and don't say that, don't say that the evolutionists really aren't like that. They don't view Christians, we have to, if you believe Darwinism, if you believe evolution, if you believe in atheism, well, as such as the term goes, you have accepted as a given, an unspoken given, that belief in a creator is a falsehood and therefore wrong. It's an evil. You claim to hold science above all this. If you believe in evolution, you believe evolution and atheism are scientific facts. Then whether or not you actively advocate it, those who believe in God are your enemy by your own declaration, because they are espousing something you believe to be false. And if science is the pursuit of facts and truth, then nothing can be more evil to you than a falsehood. You may not behave as if the religious studies professor down the hall is your enemy, but your philosophy declares it. These virulent anti-theists, as people like to call them. The fedora-wearing neckbeard types, the ones who flaunt their atheism like a banner, and who make a practice of disparaging and attacking anybody who does believe in the existence of a creator. They're not any different. The casual atheist. You're all batting for the same team. It's just that you're a benchwarmer and this guy's going up to bat. So long as you live in a largely theistic society, so long as you live in a Christian society, you will live by Christian values and philosophies. But you've openly, if you're an atheist, you've openly stated that you reject the premise upon which the morals of your society are founded. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. You throw out the Creator, and those certain inalienable rights are no longer an absolute truth. They are a point of debate, of argument. And whether it's accepted as true or not depends entirely on who's at the top of the top of the pyramid at the time. Atheist societies. I'm sorry. Everybody likes to say, "Oh well, the majority of people in Australia, they're atheists, and they're not, and they haven't descended into anarchy." The majority of people, I question that, but I'm sorry, but you're talking about Australia, which is a nation that was founded by a Christian society and was built on the values of a Christian society. And first off, they're not 100% atheist. Second of all, the values inherent in that society are not going to disappear overnight. And third, like most Western civilizations that have descended into secularism, they're not doing so hot. Just like us, just like everybody else in Western civilization. You can't cling to values you no longer believe are an ineffable truth. Oh, pardon. Whoa. Nasty. Just a wee bit gassy. But you've heard me harp on this stuff before. The thing I'm really talking about is that, choosing to make this a part of the Kickstarter, I have to say, raise the stakes too high, I think. Now, when I started the Kickstarter, I did not announce, I had not finalized what the story would be. Largely because I didn't know how many people were going to be a part of the thing. And I wanted to. My plan was to wait until I had wait until the Kickstarter fundraising campaign was done, count up the number of people, and decide, okay, which story would best incorporate this many people. And well, frankly, I should have had the story plotted. I should have decided on the story first. I did everything backwards, really. I did everything backwards. I should have plotted the story out. I should have had, at least I should have decided on that first. Then I should have run the campaign. I should have limited. I should have specified a certain number of available slots for each of the racks. Depending on what donation level you made, as to where your character was going to be. And I made the mistake of having, ranks all the way up, and I was expecting most people to opt for a small donation. I've said this before. I was expecting most people to opt for a small donation so that their character could be in a crowd scene. Instead, the majority of them were people had wanted their character to have at least a speaking line. And this is not even addressing the other incentives that were included. They're going to be getting a copy of the book. They were going to be getting a copy of the book. They're going to be getting depending on the rank of their pledge, they're going to be getting a drawing of their character. Their character is going to be, and there's going to be a character uh, index in the back of the book. That was part of the design. Just character names, sketches, and who they belong to. That was the plan. But unfortunately, I've got this huge story, and I've got it top heavy with everybody who wants to be a star. I never expected anybody to. Make the pledge as I made the offer, and I didn't really expect it. I did not expect anybody to actually make the pledge that would make their character the villain, and that's why there is the protagonist, the antagonist rather, is a ferret, mad scientist. And every time I work on this, I have to go back and I have to review everything. I have to go back and I have to check, okay, who's appeared where, and how many characters do I have left, and so on and so forth. And it makes it makes plotting the story. It has made the plotting the story out very haphazard and difficult. It's going to be it's going to be a terrible comic, frankly. How much interest would you have in a comic book off the shelf that every other page, blam, here's another new character. Let's bring him on stage, dance him around like a monkey for a couple of panels, and then woof, off to the side. And thousands of named characters flashing past your attention, and you don't know what the it's not going. I'm not saying it's like Ed Wood level awful, but it's going. It's the necessities of the story are going to make it rather poor writing. This is never. Nothing is going to make this thing the next Gone with the Wind. If you get what I'm saying, there's no. Now, suppose they took like Casablanca or Singing in the Rain or Citizen Kane, and imagine watching Citizen Kane, and every 5 minutes they had a cameo by a special guest star. That's what I'm working with. And once the project is done, I'm going to have to slowly save up enough money to do the print run, because a bunch of these things have to be, they have to be signed before they are sent out to their recipients. And I feel that people are not going to please. They're not going to be, and this is my constant worry. They're not going to be pleased with the fact that their character doesn't appear as much as they think he would. They're not going to be pleased with having their character involved in a wacko weirdo creationist sci-fi story. You know, there are going to be people that are going to be upset about that.
You didn't tell me there's going to be a bunch of creationist weirdo crap.
And I can't imagine that anybody's too happy at how long the project has taken thus far. And the more I dwell on it, the more I'm thinking that I would be better off. Everybody would be better off if I closed out the product and set about trying to reimburse everyone if I could. The thing of it is, I doubt I could. I doubt I could. Because the amount raised, $5,000. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. Just to clarify. I'm going to be, if I do it, I'm going to have to be paying them back, everybody back, one donor at a time. And it would probably take me years going about that right. If I had if I had been a team of like 3 or 4 people, it would have still been a challenge. It is just beyond my capacities. There's also the somewhat um, the diminishing state of my health. Let's put it that way. It's my health isn't so bad. I'm like, oh, he's on his deathbed. He's going to end up like Terry Pratchett and keel over dead halfway through a book or something. No, I'm I'm just saying is that I've already I'm still, despite everything, I'm still kicking. But I see which way the trend is going. I'm not getting any younger, and I'm not getting any healthier. And the health problems I've already had have already been detrimental to my productivity and to everything else. But I do not want to quit. I do not want to quit this project. But the more I think on it, the more I come to the conclusion it's beyond my capacities. 5 grand. The thing that's been keeping me going as long as I have is how much money I raise. Let me put it this way: my house, the house I'm living in, the trailer, cost $3,000. In fact, less than that, 2,000 something. And this was back when I was still fairly healthy and still had a, a part-time job and was still part of the mainstream workforce. And it took me 3 years to pay off. And I'm going to have to, if I cancel the probability bomb, I'm going to have to reimburse uh, every dime of that, and it will probably take me the rest of my life to do it. And this is why I've been going, no, 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 no. It's we're continuing on, we're continuing on. Even as my update schedule went down the toilet. is a simple fact that the funds I raised to do the probability bomb, they came and went. They're gone. And I am constantly having to shuck and jive and take commissions and other work all over the place to keep the bills paid, even continually, and that chops down my time, even more, divides my efforts. I don't know whether I'm trying to convince myself to go ahead and cancel the probability bomb, or whether I'm trying to convince myself to keep going. I could really stand some feedback from y'all. No kidding. Mostly because of taxes, yeah. I hate doing this. I hate even thinking about doing it. It's humiliating. It's shameful. The thing that made what I've done possible, the things I have done, what made them possible is being able to take them small bites, one at a time. Uh, I've written as much of the Tales of the Questor and the probability and the Tales of the Questor and all the other things I've done, a little bit at a time. I never would have started writing. I never would have started writing Tales of the Questor or Quentin Quinn Space Ranger if it hadn't dawned on me. I don't have to draw it all at once. I can just one page at a time, and that's how I've proceeded. This is how I've gotten as far as I can by just one page at a time. But I've got no. I please talk to me. Tell me this is a good idea. Tell me this is a bad idea. Tell me that I'm a terrible person for doing this. Tell me that I'm doing the smart thing, that I'm doing the wrong thing. Say something. Say anything. Can you hear me? Are you listening? I know there are two people out there, two names out there watching this channel right now. Please say something. Type something in the live chat. Let me know that I'm not just talking to empty air. You think I should keep going? I guess I will. I guess I have to. I certainly can't afford to crawfish. I'm effectively working on this thing with a budget of nothing. All the money I raised, that went to just keeping the lights lit and the rent paid and the taxes and the tax man at at bay, and that was and it's now been years ago, to my shame. Suppose there's nothing to do but keep plugging. I'm not so much, I'm not just worried about artistic. I'm worried about I'm never going to get the damn thing finished. Pardon my French. That I'm never going to be able to raise the money. I'm going to have to do another fundraiser just to do the vanity print to give give the participants above a certain level their signed copy. I'm sorry. It's just overwhelming right now. It just feels very overwhelming, and it's grinding me under. I apologize to y'all for whinging like this. I'm just I was overambitious, and now I am stuck with what I have created. There's not much more that can be said for it. That's your advice. Your advice. I'm taking your advice. I'm going to keep plugging on. And I issue this apology to everybody who supported it and who participated in the Kickstarter. That I overestimated. I've said this before. I've said it so many times. I've grossly overestimated my capacity and my productivity. And I hope you forgive me. I hope you all forgive me for how long this is taking. But I will keep on keeping on, and I don't know how many. It may be years, but I will try. I will keep trying. That's probably the best way to do it. I've noticed that the latest trend in the furry fandom, especially, and well, in art, in commission art in general, deviant art style artwork, is they're called YCH commissions. Your character here. They give you a rough pencil sketch of the character, the pose, the scene, and everything else, and your character here. And the winning bid will get their character drawn uh, in that position, in that pose, wearing that outfit, doing that thing, whatever. That seems to be probably be the best if I went through it like that. Uh, just draw in as many blank face characters as possible, and then go back and fit the rest in. So you're going to see, I think you're going to see a lot of pages, and you're going, "Where's that guy's face?" He's talking, but his head is missing. What, that kind of thing. I've got to be an incredibly frustrating person to deal with. There's not much I can do except apologize. And I'm always apologizing. I think that's probably what has been stalling me out so much, is that every time I draw a new page, I'm going back through the list, going, which of these paying donors can I fit into this particular page in this scene, and again, you just gave me a suggestion that's going to help me a lot. Draw the scenes first, draw the pages first, draw everything up, do the story first, and then go back and insert uh, the donors. That still leaves me with the eventual problem. I've got to, when this is finally done, I have to go back. I have to make a character drawing. I've got a big old box of art cardstock here that I bought specifically for this. So it's been sitting there gathering dust. Go back, do the characters, draw the pictures, scan the pictures in. Uh, then when it's all finally done, bundle it up, ship it off to kablam.com, or, well, email it to them, and then proceed to raise the funds to do the vanity print, which will be mailed to me so that I can sign them all, and then mailed back out to the donors. Bite-sized pieces, bite-sized pieces. Gotta focus on that. Okay, so in case anybody was listening, I spent the last half hour or so whinging about the project I'm stuck in the middle of, and finally came to the conclusion that I just need to keep on keeping on. I need to do a little more keeping. Oh, that picture bugs me. That picture, always your little girl. Look at his legs. Oh, that's terrible. And I can't fix it. It's the legs are all wrong. That's wrong. That's sad. It's tragic. Now, this is what you come here for. You come here. Half the time I spend ranting and raving about social and political issues, and the other half I spend having an emotional breakdown. Rush Limbaugh, I'm not. That's half my problem right there. I'm never going to be one of these internet famous political spokesperson types because I turn into a whinging puss at every opportunity and bleed my guts out into the show. This live streaming is my emotional outlet, and that's what dooms it. By Andy standards, if anybody ever paid attention to it, they'd only do it because it was a laughing stock. And they'd probably hold at most they'd hold it up for mockery. Look at this loser, he's just going into a crying jag. They just added Beauty and the live action Beauty and the Beast to Netflix. Man, wasn't that a goose egg? Oh, woo, oh. My burps all smell like eggs. I have no idea why. Fragrant. What was I looking for? Herpa derpa burpa burpa. Excuse me. Let's see. Plants, leaves, trees, fallen leaves, grass. Grass. Grass A, grass B, grass C, grassland. Here we go. Sorry about that. I thought I heard somebody calling my name. Great. Now I'm going crazy as well as going stupid. Uh, excuse me. Really not good at drawing scorched earth. Let's see if I can't actually make some progress on any of this stuff that I've got all piled up here. Managed to finish up a couple of commissions last night. Just give me a break. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't realize I still got that on the wrong camera here. Let's change it back over here so you can see what I'm doing here. It's working on the next Tales of the Quest story page. Let's see. Uh, Too old for this crap. You know, every time I try and simplify my life, I make it more complicated. A couple years back, I shut down all but two of my comic strips. The idea being that, hey, simplify my life. Just two comic strips. I should be able to handle two comic strips. I'll be able, I'll be able to update more, and do all this, do that. And it didn't work out that way, did it? Didn't work out that way at all. And the further I went on, and every time I keep herring off after things. I keep, let's do this and let's do that and let's do this and let's do that. And the next thing I know, I've got half a dozen irons in the fire and none of them getting hot. You know. Much to the aggravation of everybody that knows me. I've gotten into the habit. It's become almost an instinct. I start live streaming, and I start going into a downward spiral. Uh, Psychological attitude, psychological fixation, I suppose. Uh, you know, Conditioned response. Now I've gotten so used to emoing out here. I'm too poor for a therapist, so I go on YouTube. Uh, okay, Ben Shakar, you said, should I bother with B and the B? What do you mean B and the B? Okay, glad. Hello, Wild Weirs, Wild Wired We W. Hello, welcome back. I'm glad that you got the batch. I sent the last batch of commissions. And I'm glad you liked them. I wasn't sure what you said. Orca wolf thing. Did I come close? Did I here? Let me show everybody what I'm talking about here. It's one of the commission drawings he has is for the here we go. Sun elf, which apparently translates to island princess kind of thing going on, and he wanted an orca wolf thing, and there you have it. Don't get me wrong, orcas are cool, killer whales are cool, but they're not exactly known for their lean, lithe, lupine type form. It's just one attribute they're not known for, right there. Uh, so sort of had to fish around for a concept to work with. I'm assuming they're islanders. That's why I'm assuming. I'm assuming that's the reason you wanted her hanging out with giant four-legged sea animal. Ritually cannibalistic. Holy crap. Your sun elves are ritually cannibalistic Mayan Hawaiian knockoffs. Yoy. I think you mean Fiji. I love it, ritually cannibalistic, because that makes it special. Yeah, I love these anthropologists. They come out there and they find out that some ancient human tribe has been eating people, and they try and make it sound, oh well, it was only ceremonial. Oh really? I'm sure that made the people that were on the menu feel much better. Don't worry, honey, it's only a ritual. They're only going to ceremonially take a bite out of us after they roast us on a spit. I wouldn't have drawn her looking quite so friendly if I'd have known that she's, in the habit of eating people. Uh, I've noticed that you have a thing for tattoos too. Of the last drawings, let's see, about 3 of the last 4 involved tattoos of some sort. You ought to have at least 1 or 2 races out there that shun ritual scarring. Just for flavor. Just for variety. There, 'cause, just one tribe one tribe of elves or dwarves that goes, heck no, that hurts. I know it's a common thing out there in the wilds. That they scarring and tattoos and brandings and all sorts of and plugs in your lip and nose and bones through your ears and all that other crap. But just 1 or 2 that just saying. That was the thing with the Hebrews. They didn't do piercings. They didn't do tattoos, and they didn't do piercings. They didn't do tattoos, and they didn't even shave their beards. They were specifically forbidden, largely because at the time the cutting of the corners of the beards. You shall not shave the corners of your beard, because that was a ritual by some of the more unsavory uh, tribes out there in the hinterlands. The various actual cannibal human sacrifice civilizations out there. That one of the signs of their worship of the was to trim their beard in a certain way. So the Hebrews were that's why they have those little braids down the side, because it grows out there. You don't most people don't realize you let it grow out long enough, and you start getting those little those little side thingies. That's why Orthodox Jews grow them that way. Anyway, and also the Sikh. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that. Sikh. Very interesting Mideastern religion, among other things. They do not. Yeah, they do not shave. Their women do not shave their legs either, and they also and it just different things. The some cultures go in for a lot of heavy body markings and such. Other races and tribes and cultures, they do the exact opposite. Seems to be a big either or kind of thing. Another thing about the Sikhs, I learned this a few years back. They do not. The men never go unarmed. It's It's an admirable philosophy as far as I'm concerned. They carry ceremonial blades. The idea being is that they are always armed and ready to defend themselves and their people and innocents around them. Or so it's so we're informed. They had one case, political correctness being what it is, and everybody, weapon phobic people out there. The practicing Sikhs have taken to carrying small little pen knives, so as not to to stay on the side of laws and law and order and regulations and all this other stuff, and also so that they as long as they're carrying a little something, they. But anyway, there was one case, Muslim terrorist attack again. Son of a bitch went in there. It was some sort of community center. Women and children. There was an old guy there, as a Sikh. He was in his 80s. In the aftermath, they went in. They found his body. The bastards, the Muslim bastards, had killed him. And due to the law, no weapons beyond this point. He had been, he had to leave a proper weapon. All he had with him was one of those pitiful little pen knives, and it was bloody. He went out like a man ought to. He went out like a man. He had nothing but that penknife, and he still fought. Admirable, an admirable philosophy, an admirable attitude, and no man can fault the man's courage. That poor man was forced, that poor 80, 90-year-old man, because of the milksops running our society, was forced to defend a building full of women and children from a bunch of screaming fanatics with nothing but a frickin' penknife. It's interesting. You always find, certain, at least one. You'll find many groups that have certain little things they do that I have to admit. Why my first thought as as a Christian first and as a American citizen second is why aren't we doing that? Why isn't that part of our culture? Uh, the Sikhs and their law where they where they never go unarmed. Why isn't that part of American culture? Why isn't it part of Christian culture? Because I hate to break it to you, is the first thing that Jesus told his followers was to if they had to buy themselves to wear a sword. Buy yourself a sword. If you have to, sell your cloak and use the money to buy a sword. For you, he did not expect his followers. He did not expect his followers to go unarmed and defenseless and to simply lie down and die when evil came after them. It's of note that the Apostle Paul reportedly went down into the arenas at the Colosseum. I don't remember if it was 2 different times or 3, and fought the wild beasts there for his life. Christianity is not a death cult. It's not a suicide cult. We're to defend the life that we were given. We're to defend the lives of others around us. And it's the only conscientious thing to do as a Christian. But I look at the Sikhs and how they have made it a part of their religious practice. They are not unarmed, and even our backwards society will not forsake, force them to. Our society, even our screwed up society, won't make them go unarmed. At least allow them to wear something. But my thought is that should have been a part of Christian culture. It's not been that long since the Colosseum and the lions. It's not been that long since Christians have been hunted. Hell, it's happening now. And I think it's a crying shame. Another thing I wish that Christians, the Mormons, one of their products found this out. This surprised me to no end. Is one of the religious practices of devout Mormons. They are expected to have at least a year's supply of food and staples stored away for each member of their family. And it's a whole thing. They are to have a stockpile. These guys are the original doomsday preppers. And whatever you may say, as far as I'm concerned, they're a cult. And they are nowhere, they're a heretical cult. And but I cannot fault them on the wisdom, on the common sense. The fact they were never popular when they started. Everybody knew what they were back then. I'm sorry, really, the Mormon Church, it was the equivalent of Dang, I can't. My brain just skipped a groove. They were the Scientologists of the 19th century. They were. They were they in every regard, and they still are. It's just that everybody has forgotten their roots and forgotten what they really teach and what they really practice. They they're cut from almost the exact same cloth as a Scientologist, started by a shyster who was looking for a quick scam. Get rich quick scheme. L. Ron Hubbard and Brigham Young, birds of a feather. Or was it Brigham Young or what is it? I keep forgetting which one was, the founder of Mormonism. He was a crook. He ran bunco scams all the time, and then one day he decided that making up a religion would be even easier. Than any of the other scams he'd run in the past, and he was right. And the tragedy is that he died. He was lynched by led by a mob by an angry husband in a jealous rage. And the tragedy is that if they had just left him be and let him run through the court system, they had him in prison. If they had just let him run through, he would have been debunked, and that would have been the end of it. But no, they made him a martyr. But I'm getting off track. I'm getting way off track. But they were not a popular group, and like I was saying, they made it a part of their teachings that every member of the Mormons was to stockpile, have at least a year and preferably two in supplies stashed away. And you weren't a proper practicing devout Mormon if you didn't. And they still do that today. In fact, you can go online. They even have instructionals. How to plot out what you need, and they have online website calculators that figure out how many tubes of toothpaste do you need, how many rolls of toilet paper, and how many cans of beans, and they're like I said, they're the original doomsday preppers, and they got to pray, and they are prepared. They are prepared for any eventuality. Whether you're talking a societal collapse, failure of the infrastructure, plague, famine, drought, they're good for a year and two, maybe two. And you better believe that they have shotgun shells and bullets stashed on that stash list too. And again, I look at that and I go, why isn't that part of our, why isn't that part of the Baptist culture? Why isn't that part of the Christian culture in general? There's no mistaking it. Christianity is pretty much the most persecuted religion on the earth right now. People are being, you've seen the footage. They're beheading Christians in the Mideast right now. And this isn't something new. This has been going on since time immemorial. There are places where there are places in this country where carrying a Bible is a ticket to a butt whooping, and that's if you're lucky. There are people out there that are actively pursuing to marginalize Christianity in our society, in our government, and in our society, and doing everything in their wicked power to do it. My God, look at what they tried to do to Chick-fil-A just for saying that they were pro-family. Look what they tried to do to the, good news, for, you remember the wedding cake people, the Christian family that owned a bakery, and they refused to make a wedding cake for a homosexual couple, and the law of land tried to come down on them with both feet. Well, a judge just stepped up, and as I understand it, the Trump administration stuck its finger in there a little bit too, and said no. This isn't going to fly. They can't be forced to do this. So things are turning up far better for them. Now, we are, but no, average Christian today expects every day after tomorrow to be just the same as it was yesterday. We aren't prepared for the phone lines to be out for a few hours, much less to deal with an actual uprising or persecution or actual crisis where both our own people and our own families and our neighbors are suddenly in desperate need. We're not ready for that. We're never ready for that. You got too many people who are hoping that the rapture will happen before anything gets too serious. Jesus is going to come by and sweep us up in his aeroplane and fly us all away. I hate to break it to you, but there are a lot of Christians sitting around during the Holocaust, waiting for Jesus to come sweeping in, and didn't happen. And they died in the concentration camps. It wasn't just Jews there. They weren't prepared. They should have seen the, if nothing else, they should have seen the signs and gotten the heck out of Dodge while they still could. No, they didn't. And of course, you can almost hear the chastising. Well, brother, you need to have faith in Jesus to take care of you through all your troubles and trials. So did Job. So did Job. That didn't stop calamity from befalling him, now did it? Half the reason that Christianity spread as far as it did is because of the persecution of the under the Roman Empire. The Christians saw what was coming, and they bolted, spread all over the world, fleeing people that wanted to throw them to the lions or worse. They didn't sit around and go. They didn't sit around holding hands and singing Kumbaya and saying, "Oh, Jesus will take care of you." Jesus expects you to take care of yourself, to take care of each other. It's going to take more than a hymnal to do that. course, there are some people that treat being armed and being prepared for a crisis as unchristian. Seriously. I remember when Y2K was brewing up, and some people were just being stupid and panicking, but other people, a lot of people just making common sense preparations, uh, just in case things went bad. And I remember walking past a Bible bookstore, Christian bookstore, and they had one of these Christianity Today magazine issues in the front window, and the cover showed a family, a redneck-looking family, all huddled together. The father's sitting there looking poleaxed and just like he smacked in the back of the head with a hammer. He's just sitting there holding a shotgun in his fists, and his wife and his daughter are clinging to him in fear. And and they got cans of beans and bags of rice all stacked up around them, and a calendar showing Y2K, and and the caption and the story headline is this really Christian? Yes, it is. Christians didn't sit around back in the days of yore waiting for Jesus to come bail them out. When they saw trouble coming, they left. They hauled arse. I find it personally frustrating. I try and make a point of trying. I try. I can't do much for myself, preparation wise, for a crisis, but I do try a little bit. My level best. One of the things I try and stockpile. I try to keep a good solid supply of food and canned goods and staples, dry goods and such. My efforts have been rather frustrated by my personal situation, but I do try to stash away a little bit. I've said this before. I'm on EBT. I'm on food stamps. Most people on food stamps, they just stuff the fridge with with junk. Well, not even junk. Just they get enough to get them by till the next payout from EBT, and no foresight, at all. They get just, and by the time the next check rolls around, the refrigerator is almost empty, and everybody's sitting around going hungry. I try and stock up on staples: flour, beans, rice, canned meat, canned soup, canned beans, canned veggies and stuff. Well, I don't get too many canned veggies, unless you count soup, tomato soup. One of the rules of stockpiling: don't stockpile stuff you'd never eat. Don't you know? Because when it actually comes down to it, you're not going to be willing to eat it anyway. And stockpile some of the good stuff too. Uh, Things like sweeteners, sugar, honey. Honey is a valuable one. It's useful not just as a food, but it's also useful as medicine. You can use honey on wounds and burns. It helps heal, and it has antibiotic properties, and it will not. And if you keep it still, it will not spoil, and it lasts virtually forever. It's highly nutritious, it's much better for you than ordinary sugar, for crying out loud. That I have got one of the things I did is I'm thinking a little for I don't drink coffee, but I have about 3 or 4 cans, big jumbo cans of it, stashed away. Why? Because a lot of people around me do, and it may come a point, it can happen where I'll be trading scoops of coffee for stuff I need. So and I also stocked up on chocolate, cocoa, baking cocoa specifically. I want to add to that. I want to have a lot more than I already have. I've got like 2 or 3 cans of the stuff, and I want at least a dozen. Everything. And why? Because in a crisis, uh, certain things are already sort of hanging uh, in danger of going in short supply. Cocoa, chocolate in particular, the trade routes are very easily disrupted for it, and there have been problems. They're looking like a shortage. Same for coffee. Same for several spices. There's a reason there was a reason that the spices were so valuable back in the days of Marco Polo. Uh, uh, they're very expensive, and uh, if we enter a crisis, if we are ever in a crisis, a war, an economic collapse, what have you, and these things do happen, and it's childish foolishness to think, oh, it won't happen to us. That's about the time it does. Nobody thought that we were going to enter the Great Depression either, but surprise, surprise. Overnight, the American economy imploded. Boom. And times like that, uh, spices, things like nutmeg, allspice, rosemary, garlic, they're not exactly domestically grown. And so I would like to, that's one of the things you can stock up on, because that stuff can be valuable, as worth its weight in gold, or several times its weight in gold, if the conditions are bad enough, and if for no other reason that if you're living off of canned goods, you're gonna want something to spice the food up, because that's an important part of morale as anything. There are people out there who can treat food like it was nothing more than go fuel. You know, they can just shovel whatever into their face and just get on with their day, no matter how bad. But for the rest of us, uh, tasty, not just edible but tasty and at least a little bit enjoyable food is an important part of maintaining your morale in a bad time. So yeah, Spice. I'm low on can. I've got a few cans of Spam, and I I think I got some potted meat over there. I'd like to get more. I'd like to get more canned meats, canned salmon, canned tuna. I want more of that. I want it, But like I said, I try and make a point of doing that. I've been slipping into the habit of shopping by the week. But I need to get back on that. I need to get back, and you also need to get into the habit of using the stuff you buy. Yeah, buy stuff you'll use and use the stuff you buy. That's the ticket. That's the trick to it. Don't buy food that you would never eat just because it's cheap. Because even you shouldn't have to be in a zombie apocalypse crisis before you finally break down and open up that can of Spam. You know what I'm saying? Flours, grains, and not just white flour. Get whole wheat flour. Get white flour. Get cornmeal. Get any again, variety. Variety will save your sanity. Stocking up on things like white sugar, brown sugar, honey, molasses. Those are important because honey and molasses very nutrient rich, especially compared to other sweeteners. The artificial sweeteners, throw them out. Okay. That's an example of Western civilization insanity. That we reach a point where we have convinced ourselves, in our desperation to cheat our way around dieting, we reach a point where we will where even our medical professionals will honestly countenance using something licked off the bottom of a test tube to sweeten our food. I'm sorry, there's no sense in it. If you're going to have sweeteners, you might as well get the nutritious stuff. Half the reason that people are so sick of we got a low fat, low protein, high carb diet that has been pushed on us. And I notice the bleached out foods. I say white sugar. It's a whitey conspiracy. White sugar, white flour, vegetable oils. We deliberately eat the bulk of our food in stuff that has had all the nutrition leached out of it. Brown sugar, the reason brown sugar is brown is because the brown stuff is molasses basically. That's all the good stuff, and they take it out to make white sugar, make it more refined dining. That was the original idea behind white sugar, and we stopped using brown sugar, and we stopped using molasses, and we stopped using honey, and now we use white sugar and everything, and then we stopped using white sugar and we started using corn syrup and everything, which is even worse. It's so bad it makes white sugar look healthy. I know the irony of it is that in a real crisis, the Bible said, "Lay not your treasures up in the earth." in this earth, and I could go to all the trouble of stockpiling all this food and laying in some shotgun shells and all this other crap, preparing for a crisis, and keel over dead from a heart attack the next day. I'm aware of that, but so I try and keep in mind, if I pass on, I want it to be available for other people who are still here. You know, I've got friends and I've got neighbors and I got family members, and if when it all hits the fan and I don't make it, they my attitude is that at least it will at least what I have saved up will be there for them. So make of that what you will. And like I said before, there's no guarantee that we're going to get the quick, easy out when a disaster comes along. So be prepared to have to live through it. You know what I'm saying? Oh my. Sort of running low on steam at the moment. May God have mercy on us all. May God bless us and watch over us and keep us. May God give us the strength to get through whatever trials lie before us between where we are and the final end of the race. Oh, sorry about that. I phased out for a minute. Uh, like I said, I didn't get much sleep last night. I just dozed off in my office chair, quote unquote office, and and also even if I hadn't been awake, I would have been woke up when I finally passed that kidney stone. So yeah, you know. So I got it sitting right here. I found a little empty pill bottle. That was rattling around inside me 24 hours ago. Got to take it to the doctor and let him chemo analysis it, find out what kind of stone it is, so I can decide my best course of treatment, diet and such, most likely. Yeah, I'm trying to, I got a refrigerator full of food. It's one of the things I got is I got a bag, I got oranges, I got orange juice. I've worked my way through 1 gallon of orange juice in the past 2 or 3 days, and I'm starting on my second. And well, I'm almost through my second one too. Come to think of it, looking at it, and got milk, more calcium. I also got a bag of lemons, got a bag of oranges, got a bag of cherries, uh, got a bag of spinach. I may be mistaken about the spinach, but spinach good for you. Have it in a salad anyway, one way or the other. That kind of thing. I'm trying to, you know, uh, diet, making dietary changes to try and deal with any forming stones, that kind of thing. The citric acid in the orange juice and in the lemons and the cherries and everything is supposed to help break up uric acid stones. Makes them break, dissolves them. So long as you maintain that pH level, you know, uh, it, well, basically just having that in your diet improves your internal chemistry and helps get rid of the stones. Oh my. Lost my train of thought. Dozed off. Now, Oh my. I do apologize. It looks like I'm about tuckered out for the day, guys. I just dozed off. I think I'll call it quits. It's been 3 hours, and I thank you all for tuning in, and we'll pick up tomorrow, pick up where we left off, maybe get a little bit more done, talk about some new topics, try and get some new things to, try and get some new material, really, just get some new things to talk about other than the same old grind. And we'll catch you all later. You all take care of yourselves. You hear?